Susan, maybe give me the sign when you're ready.
Okay, sorry. Dave took her, Mike took my pen.
See what happens when he moves to the other side.
Yeah.
I voted today, but thanks.
I don't know how it's gonna shake out, but.
So hard choice. Okay, thank you. On, I'm sure Kelsey will tell us if they're not. Oh, wait, yeah, she's.
Sorry, can't verify those.
Sarah.
Lucy's ready.
He doesn't have to do that one. Okay, we're good.
Okay. So I'll call the regular city council meeting of February 18th to order. And will you join me in the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we let the clerk take the roll.
Mayor Smith,
Here.
Deborah Adams,
Here.
Aaron Hanson,
Here.
Casey Kinsman.
Here.
Is here, but. we did.
Can
Mike
you hear-
Mickelson,
Here.
Wendy Rainey,
Here.
Kathy Sherman,
Here.
Dave Zestra.
Here.
Well, maybe you're not muted, maybe there's an issue. So I can't hear you guys. Can you guys put something in the chat bar if you can?
Can you hear me now? This is Dave.
Not hear you?
Hello?
Can you hear me, Dave?
I can hear you, yeah.
I can hear you too. I guess
You
they
hear us,
can't
Casey?
hear us.
Is it on the?
Usually when that fire lights up, he's trying to speak. Let's not let's turn it up.
Who used this last? Casey and I can hear each other. Thank you.
I have to go home, Cassie, and figure it out.
Been here.
Is the album? Oh, yeah,
He just be.
pictures of them. Was there, you know, happy people on the mountain, throat.
Okay, why can't we hear close?
Blanking.
Is the case is working. Start switching on the album. But the camera working, so. I'm not sure.
Who? Vault speaker has changed. Not even me. What did that, under audio, what does it say? Oh,
Casey,
that's what I'm sure.
you
Casey or Dave, anything? Can you try talking?
Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can have contact.
had to reboot.
I still have you, Casey.
All right.
The first IT thing you ever did.
Reboot.
Thank you. Video, great, okay. Okay, we have a forum.
Okay,
Yeah.
all sorts, we got that established. Great. Okay, so we have an agenda as presented. Are there any edits or modifications to that? The agenda as presented.
Okay, well, Dave says he can't hear us.
Oh, didn't we just not hear us, Dave?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Oh, great, okay.
Can you hear us?
Put the wine down.
You can hear us, okay?
I can hear you. I'm not sure about Casey. You can hear him?
Yep, I can hear you as long as you can hear me.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, I don't hear any objections to the agenda, so we'll consider it approved as presented. Disclosures of conflicts of interest in ex parte communication. Agenda items, any conflicts to declare? No, okay. Communications by and petitions from visitors. We don't have any guest speakers scheduled. Audience comments regarding agenda items. Would anybody like to come forward and speak for up to 3 minutes on an agenda item?
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Catherine. I'm at 828 Woodland Drive, and I'm here on behalf of CTC. So we have under section L, I think it's item 13, there's a resolution. And it is a lease for CTC at the wastewater treatment facility so that we can build our cable landing station for our new Reconnect grants that we've been working on for 2 different subsea cables. And I just wanted to say thanks for your consideration on behalf of the cooperative. Kevin and Amanda have been great to work with, and we just really appreciate the city's support. So that's it. Just thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Audience.
Hi, Jason Lee, 220 South Second Street. I was here to speak on the Sayu Kaliak fishery. Tyler gave me a last minute heads up, and I actually don't know specifically, but I'm in here and just wanted to give like a 1 or 2 minute background so everyone kind of knows roughly what's going on. 6, 7 years ago, a small group of us started fishing the Kaliak and a little bit in the Sayu rivers. And we were fishing by boating our fish out. And historically, these rivers all flew their fish out. And so we were kind of doing them in a new way and found measured success. But we were very limited due to the distance and the weather. Some seasons we were basically canceled, some seasons were pretty good. So it was very weather dependent. We fished the Kaliak primarily, and this year, or 2 years ago, slowly they've been moving together and have joined. And the more or less the sports fishermen wanted us out at basically complaint terms. So they put in this to close, they put in this proposal to the Board of Fish using the ACR process to close 400 yards which is exactly where we fish, because that's where the river turns and that's the only place where we can fish. And so I'm just here if there's any information needed and would support any kind of support in the board of fish process from the city council. As this proposal as written would literally take away our opportunity. We would not be able to fish. And it comes down to the depth of the river at the river bends there, so. I think that's about it. I guess just to highlight that it does. Yeah, I'll just stop there. Should go and do it, so, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Hey, Tyler Dillon, 140 Prince William Range Road, and same thing that Jason just spoke on, we wanted to let everybody know that support this resolution for proposals 170, 171, 172, but the Cadillac one that he spoke about, that's a decent group of fishermen we worked over that have been working really hard to get that going and make money out there, and it's been working, and we just want the city to know that it's important to our town, so. We support it, or was it?
Support.
Support the resolution to oppose it. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Any other audience participation?
Jason Leak, and I had one note written down, historically, we're harvesting. A very small portion of what has been historically harvested, so that might be relevant information. Just because. Historically, it's supported fleets ever since the early 1900s, but certainly before that, with as far as. Other endeavors, but historically, we're taking a very small amount of historically what has been taken when they used to fly out in the heyday, when they used to fly out fish. That's relevant.
Okay, don't see anybody else coming up for. Audience participation. Guess it's audience comments.
Use the mic, please.
I guess it's audience comments, sorry. Okay, so chairpersons and representatives of boards and commissions. Anybody who wants to come and speak? Civil board, school board?
Pete had a little bit lower than anticipated. Pete Hefner, 100 Orca Circle. Just thought I'd give a little update, some celebrations at the schools. And just thought I'd connect with you guys. At Mount Eccles, some of the great things that, we had that Alaska Reads Act institute, although it's an unfunded mandate. Our amazing staff at the schools are working collaboratively, showing amazing growth. We've moved from 65% of our students scoring at or above benchmark to 67%. The largest growth is occurring in kindergarten. They went from 45 to 62%, and that's in this year. Fourth grade from 62 to 71%. Fifth grade from 64 to 73%. So that's amazing growth. That's higher than the rest of the state. So it's really wonderful to see what our staff is doing at the elementary school. At the high school, I don't know if you guys have been told this one, but really cool. We're #1 high school in the state of Alaska for the second year in a row by US News and World Report. The CHS also made College Board Advancement Honor Roll Gold Tier, one of only 4 schools in Alaska. Last weekend at the Elks Tournament, the cheer team got first place for the second year in a row. And the high school girls did amazing, placed second. They even beat Valdez, you know, the big 3A teams. The high school robotics team, got the design award at the state meet. The students are off on travels. Music group is going to Hawaii, to the Honolulu Heritage Music Festival. And that's all paid through fundraising. Close Up is going to DC and New York. That's always an amazing trip for the students. Those are also paid through fundraising. Homecoming games are this weekend with the Nana. Senior night is the March or on the 27th, and homecoming is at the Pioneer Igloo. And then at the school board level, we have hired a new superintendent, Kim Anish. She comes from Dutch Harbor, Alaska, an experienced superintendent. She completed 3 years out there. You know, and we're sad to see Alex retiring, but he's got the national pickleball competition in his sights once his shoulder gets healed up. And you know, one of the things that when you look at the lengthy tenure that Alex has had, you know, we can see growth that comes from that. We've been really blessed in Cordova to have such a long-term superintendent. And you know, the gains that we're seeing, as well as our amazing principals at both buildings and the staff, both teachers and support. This month was the School Board Appreciation Month. I made a trip down to with AASB to the legislative fly-in in Juneau. Things are moving slow, and it's real early. You know, top issues are the teacher retirement system. That really affects the retention and recruitment for teachers in the state of Alaska. And just one is, we do have Cordova Classified Employee Group created a union last April, and they are negotiating with the school board. And it's wonderful that they've formed a union to advocate for themselves. The budget process, we're starting that at this point. There is, we are looking at different aspects, athletics, how to fund that. We've had such amazing community support this year and donations from somewhere above and beyond. But just wanted to touch bases and bring some good news from the school district.
A lot going on, that's terrific. Thank you. Okay, so I assume there aren't any other chairpersons of boards and commissions, what's that? Oh, okay, thanks. I'm not seeing anybody else from boards and commissions, so we can move on to the consent calendar.
And I will take the roll on the consent calendar unless anyone's pulling anything. Nobody's pulling. Wendy Rainey,
Yes.
Mike Mickelson,
Yes.
Aaron Hanson,
Yes.
Casey Kinsman,
Yes.
Kathy Sherman,
Yes.
Deborah Adams,
Yes.
Dave Zastro.
Yes.
Consent calendar's approved.
So yeah, so we have approved the board fish resolution. Okay, so we don't, we have minutes, they were in the consent calendar, we don't have any considerations of bids and proposals. Contracts and reports of officers, so I did not get a written report in, I apologize for that. I do have a few things to relay to the group. We did submit a letter of support on the, in support of Prince William Sound RCAC's recertification by the Coast Guard. So that didn't make it in, I didn't get it in for it got submitted by the comment deadline, I didn't get it in for the packet deadline, so that'll be, I think, in the next packet. I did arrange a call last week with students and staff about the fisheries business tax, so we have talked here in the past about the fact that it takes the state months to distribute the money, and we don't know how it's calculated, and it turned out that the Marketing Association and CDFU have both, we're all interested, and city staff also joined us on this call, so we had several folks, and Matt Greening is going to talk to some folks at the Department of Finance. It is apparent that when you start asking questions, the ability to answer the question has to get approved by much higher levels, and so it shouldn't be a big deal for taxpayers to ask about how their money comes back to them, but that's what it takes So, I wanted to, I know that we've got the Board of Election appointments, in this packet, and I just wanna give a shout out to the folks who monitor our elections every year. It's democracy in action. They're all volunteers. They observe, I think, with the greatest of integrity, monitoring our elections. They're very careful and thorough about their counts, and this, I think, is something that's gets played out in communities all over the country, and I just wanna make sure that people recognize how important their job is. And let's see, the Board of Fish is coming up, on the 17th, 18th, and 19th of March, I think, and are you planning on going, Councilmember Middleton? Okay. I was gonna ask about public testimony. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it, but if I don't, I can do written testimony or coordinate with you, yeah. I wanna say too that, just so people know, I didn't do it under conflict of interest because it's not an agenda item, but in my other role as the executive director of the Prince William Sound Economic Development District, I submitted a proposal to planning and zoning last week, in partnership with CDFU and the Marketing Association to purchase a piece of city property. And I know it will come up before planning and zoning in March, but I just wanted to make that disclosure. It's something I've been working on since 2020, so it's not something that I made a point of getting into this office, so I would have any possibility of undue influence, so. I just wanted to say that in public. And then I also wanna share some news that's not so great, that I got from Silver Seafoods. So I'm gonna share this all with you. I talked to Abby Frederick yesterday at Silver Bay. They are, I think folks probably know some of this, Silver Bay, in 2025, Silver Bay acquired 50% of OBI Seafoods. The other 50% of OBI is owned by Ocean Beauty, which is also known as the Bristol Bay Economic Development Corporation. So they're 50% owners, they're managing all of the OBI business and operations. Their 2025 goal was to stabilize commercial fishing operations for fishermen. It was a decent volume year and the price held. But in 2026, the forecast for Prince William Sound is pretty low, especially for Piswag. They're noting that the 2026 forecast is 6.4 million fish. 6.4 compared to 28 million forecast in 2025. And this year, most of those fish are gonna go to cost recovery. The FDA has a better forecast, 2026, about 10.8 million fish. There were 20 million in 2025, and more common property is expected to be available through the FDA. So Silver Bay has made the decision, they're not gonna process fish here in 2026. They're gonna keep what I would call a skeleton crew, a minimal crew of 8 people in the plant to supply ice, fuel, and gear for Cordova fishermen. I did ask, because it came up in one of our planning meetings about this shared processing facility, somebody said, why not talk to Silver Bay about using their facility? And I mentioned that yesterday, and Abby Frederick said, no, this is not a permanent change, this is something that we're just trying to be responsive to for this year. We really value what's in the Cordova plant with the fillet lines, the fresh programs that they've had going, and they feel like there's a lot of capacity for some new things coming down the line. So they're definitely planning on, what did she say? For 2027, we expect and hope to see higher forecasts, and our operational plans will adjust accordingly. Yeah, that they analyze their programs every year. So, like I said, it's not great news. I mean, it means there's gonna be way fewer cannery workers in town spending what little money they have, fewer fish coming across the dock. And, I was reading the news this morning and there was a comment about Quillingham after Typhoon Headlong. And the lead line was talking about community members saying they wanna go back to the way it was. But some people are saying the way it was is not the way forward. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one in the room who wants things to go back to the way they were. But that probably isn't realistic and we have to figure out a new path forward. So I realize we hear news like Silver Bay's decision for 2026, and it's super scary. No question, you know, we've already felt like we've had to make some pretty significant cuts and we don't know what this is gonna mean for us going forward. I think there are a few small bright spots. I talked to Rick Isaacson at Trident a few months ago, and he was pretty optimistic that they would be able to open in April and buy groundfish. Cam2's, you know, has a project to go forward and hopefully is gonna be able to buy groundfish and expand their operations, so I know those are probably pretty small compared to what Silver Bay landed here last year, but it's could offset the loss a little bit, it could help. Pete was talking about some of the things that are happening in the school district, and I saw a flyer in the grocery store that talks about how the school district got a grant for early childhood literacy, which I think is awesome. We have the contract in the packet for Caliber Mechanical to provide regular services to the city. I've had that guy last summer, he came and did work in my house and he was amazing. So the fact that we might have a more regular plumber, HVAC person in town, I think is pretty terrific. So I feel like we take the bright spots where we can find them. And we will do our best as a community, as we always do. And I came across a quote, that has in the past been attributed to Darwin, but actually was corrected. That's not who said it. Although this person I think was probably paraphrasing, but it is not the strongest or the most intelligent who will survive, but those who can best manage change. And I think Cordova's done that before, and we're gonna have to, like I said, figure out that path forward again. We do have coming up this spring, the second Innovate Cordova Summit that Senator Murkowski is championing and leading, and that will be here in Cordova, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And so I think that's an opportunity to put forward some of our ideas for projects that we want to see happen in this community. So we have to, like I said, focus on the bright spots and take advantage of those opportunities when they come to us. So thanks, that's my mayor's report, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Mayor Smith?
Yeah.
Wondering with respect to, you said your phone call to, or conversations with, Louis Stutes. Is there any benefit in the public? Calling and raising questions about how quickly and efficiently our raw fish tax is reimbursed to the city? And will that make a difference or not?
I would say, let's give it a little bit, give Matt Greening a little bit of time to see what he can tell us, what he can learn from finance, Department of Finance, but it might come to that. You know, if we need to get loud, we could. You know, like I said, I don't understand the state holding on to taxpayers' money and not telling us how they calculate it and why it takes so long, and I know Krista has said the same thing at the Marketing Association. She says, you know, we look at the records and we try to account for what we think we should be getting, and we've been off by a lot sometimes, and they won't tell us why. So yeah, so I think what Matt's gonna try to find out is the methodology, how do they calculate it, because they haven't shared that with us either. So, yeah, we've got questions.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you.
Can anybody make a phone call?
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, any? See any comments online or questions? So, okay, we can go to the city manager's report.
Real quick, Mayor Smith, along those same lines, sorry I didn't unmute fast enough. Is there any grounds to stand on if we don't get the information we're looking for from Matt? I mean, I don't take this lightly, but any kind of legal recourse and working with our attorneys to get what I feel, and I think a lot of people feel, is something that we're kind of entitled to. It's our money, it's these kind of things. And so I'm just curious thoughts on that. Hopefully it doesn't come to that and we're able to find methodology and all that, but just curious.
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. I don't know if we have legal grounds. I mean, I don't think the state has committed to saying we will give you an answer in such and such a time frame. So. And in the past, I think we've just relied on them. Doing it, and we've been patient, so, yeah, do you have?
A few years ago, Holly tipped us off that there was this form and request that we could submit to the state. And it's very official and has to be like notarized and whatever, and only like she and I are allowed to get it emailed to us, and because it's very sensitive information, because it's the processors that pay that money. Granted, it's the fishermen that pay that money, but the processors remit the money to the state.
Right.
Except so we get this spreadsheet that they can send us annually. I think I stopped asking for it because it's so late in the game, it doesn't help us. It doesn't help us calculate for a budget cycle because it comes much later.
Yeah.
I guess it would be more helpful to analyze that to see that we're getting the right amount. So we, I could ask for that again, but at this point, I'd be asking for last year's.
Well, I think it's something too that I imagine other fishing communities are interested. I mean, I could see. Rallying other fishing communities and going through AML and, like I said, making a bigger fuss about it than. Raising the profile of the issue. And getting some attention, so. Yeah. Any other questions from? Council members on the line? Okay, thanks. So city managers report.
You know, let Samantha go first.
Hi, everyone. Well, I just have a quick full update. The stars aligned on Friday and we were able to cut open the pool. Peterson's came in Friday afternoon and just opened it up so we could take a look at it. We're still in the process of analyzing what's going on underneath of it. Like a lot of people in town, we've had some sicknesses in our department, so we've had some maintenance people out. But Micah and Ron got a good look at it today. And we're moving forward with some plans on what we need to do to clear out the rock underneath. It does look like initially that nothing has disappeared, it has moved different places. Very much so, the drains were about 18 inches higher than what they were supposed to be. So today they worked mostly on pressure testing all the plumbing to make sure that that was still working before we went ahead and started digging everything out. So they're still working on that. I have a commission meeting on Tuesday. And so I will hopefully have a bigger update then about how we're moving forward with it. So it does look like nothing is missing, the dirt anyway, so. It just really has like swirled around, so there's a lot of empty spots in the bottom of the pool where the water was pushing down, and then there's some really high spots in it. So, that's kind of where we're at with it. Does anyone have any questions, Still hopeful? It's slow, it's a slow process, and the weather window we have is pretty nice right now. I know it's cold, but it's what we needed. So, and it looks like it's gonna be dry for a little while.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you.
I just wanna update a little bit on the payroll and timekeeping. Everybody in the finance department, and I would say in the city is pretty excited about this because it is gonna be such an amazing time saver. And Brenda is probably the most happiest person in the entire city because she does not have to hand in every time she emails. So we're getting close, so this pay period, this last pay period, we did all of City Hall and we did the street crew. And so we're trying to get some on-time call and some different mixed schedules, they have some 10-hour days. Went pretty smoothly, worked a few things out. And next pay period, we're doing the police department and EMS. And so those have some really crazy scheduling and that'll be a good test, but so far it has been super slick, and it's gonna be amazing, and I can't wait to see the first payroll that Brenda did not have to do her time sheet. We should all celebrate that. So there's my bright spot. An amazing amount of efficiency. I mean, it's just gonna open up so much time for her. I also wanted to just say, you know, Cheryl and I have been working with Cash Fest, and we have been working hard to keep money in the ambulance account. Its interest rate has been 3.5 or better, and we have been accumulating a lot of interest, and you know, it takes a lot for Cheryl. She's gotta be watching the money transferring it back and forth, and when money comes in and not getting too nervous. And so, but it has been pretty successful. We are far better off this year, this time, than we were last year. And part of that is due to the interest that we are continuing to accumulate, keeping the money in the higher interest accounts, and so that's been really great. And then, I think the other thing I just wanna touch on is that, Kayleen and I and all the department heads were working on policies because we need to just kind of update. Some of them are almost humorous, they're so old. So we need to update, and then really we need to get some department general or specific policies. Like vehicle use policies are very different for the police department than they are for the water sewer department, but they all have take-home cars or on-call cars. So we need to get those figured out, and we're jumping into that. And also probably putting a new contract. So those are kind of the big takers the last couple of weeks. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. Or you might want to talk about the match increase. That's not the bright spot. But I guess the bright spot on that though is that for 15% of a $17 million project, the entire Second Street from Davis to the Copper River Highway is basically getting the full-blown makeup from the subsurface to the top. And out of that, we're paying 2.1 million. Beautiful. And it's, yeah, it's a bargain. And we went into that grant 15% because we wanted to get that grant. We knew that we would have to have higher match than most in order to do it, so. I know it's hard because we're not a great time for us to have to figure out more money, but it's a pretty amazing deal overall. Now, no done.
Questions for the manager? Anybody online?
Madam Mayor?
Councilmember Kisman.
Yeah, if I might for Sam, do we have updated timelines? I know they keep swinging all over the place for both Second Street and the White Shed project.
I'm gonna let Kevin answer because I get more in the loop on that side of it. He gets to go to all the meetings.
So, Second Street's actually stayed basically on schedule. There hasn't really been any changes to that. It's still on track for construction, spring of 27. So we're about 12 months out from them probably starting to mobilize and bringing equipment into town. That project will be going out for bid this fall, September, October timeframe. The contractor will get selected in November, and then like I said, about this time next year, they'll be mobilizing. White Shed is the unfortunate project that's been dragging along since 2012-ish. And that is also actually scheduled for spring of next year as well. So we're gonna have two pretty large projects going on simultaneously next year. So it's gonna be a bit of a headache for the community, but it will be nice to just get them both done out of the way, so.
Wow, that's
Yes.
great to hear that there's going to be some efficiencies in this with having these two projects done at the same time and shared resources, whatever that looks like. So thank you for that update.
Yeah, that's our hope. The contractor for White Shed has actually already been selected. And so the hope obviously is that that contractor will put in for the Second Street project, and that will find some cost savings there since they'll have some equipment already mobilized for the White Shed project.
Does it make sense?
That's the hope. And then I guess I'll just also add in, some people may or may not know the culverts underneath the Copper River Highway that go into Odiak. From the slough into the pond, those are being replaced this September. This September, so there is gonna be a 30 to 45 day shutdown of the highway. So there'll be a detour route through Lefevre and either Chase or Lake Avenue, whichever, pick your choice, but
Gonna add to my commute.
I know it's gonna be a whole nother 3 minutes that everyone's gonna have to travel, but I'm sure we'll get through it.
More coffee.
All good.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to improvements on White Shed. So I have family that live out there and it's a scary ride in the dark, in the snow, in the rain. And I know that one corner, I'm like, okay, we're really slow around here because there's nothing guard. So I'm looking forward to that road being improved. It's a scary road otherwise.
Yeah, and the addition of the pedestrian amenities is gonna be great. I know it's just anecdotal, but I feel like every single time I drive between the highway and the city street shop, there is somebody on a bike on that stretch, so. It's gonna be nice to have a little separation for them as well.
Are they anticipating completing those projects in one construction season, or were they?
I don't know the White Shed timeline for construction, even though it's, well, they're probably about the same stretch, but. Just it's tighter in there, there's more constraints when it comes to the hillsides and stuff, so I think that one, I don't know. The plan though is, to get Second Street done in one construction season. We're actually working on, the phasing of it right now. The plan obviously is to try to do the section near the elementary school once school's out and have that completed before school starts back up. That's probably really the only actual constraint that we're gonna try to put on any contractor, and then we'll let them kind of phase the rest of the project as they see appropriate. But yes, the plan is to complete Second Street within the 27 year.
That's a right, yes, and this might not be the right time or place, but I had a local person ask me, I heard there was an emergency medevac, and the airport wasn't plowed. And I'm just wondering again, if, we need to be a louder voice for DOT having staff. I guess I don't have that, I to investigate, I just heard this afternoon, so is that
What happened? Or? It's okay, get them. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. Mayor Estel, I will start off by apologizing. I've been here so many times in uniform, and the one day I'm not in uniform. No, to my knowledge, that was, I worked pretty closely with Matt, and that has not come up, and we didn't hear from either CCMC or any Guardian or Life Med Flight that there was any delays, so there's not something we are aware of this time.
It was something that was brought up to me this afternoon.
Nobody has been delayed.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions for the manager? I do have one question, so the year-to-date finance report is awesome, and I'm wondering if we could get a year-end report for 2025.
Yep, Cheryl and I have been talking about it and there's a lot of things that have been being paid that are still into 25, so the whole wrap up is not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So when she gets back, we will have and we will do work session if we just wanna put it in the packet, but we will have one.
Great.
And then, basically audit starts at the end of March.
Right, I know, I thought but they don't finish till June, do they, so,
Yeah,
yeah, so I just thought it'd be nice to see it before then.
yeah,
Yeah.
but she will tell you over and over, these are unaudited numbers.
Of course,
It
of
will
course,
change.
but it's like.
Yep.
There's still order of magnitude,
Yeah, we can look at it.
yeah, that'd be great, sure. Okay, more questions? City clerk's report.
And now I want to keep it positive. So I'm gonna say that, early voting has been very, well used by the community, which is great. Gone through 52 or 3 ballots, some of which I've mailed, about 14 or 15 people have requested, mail ballots. And then I heard from the newspaper today and she's gonna get in touch with all the candidates and do a little questionnaire, so now that the Cordova Times is kind of hybrid online, so that should be hopefully online fairly soon. And then maybe in print, I think they print on the second and fourth Fridays. And then, see, I don't know how to make assessment notices good news, sorry. But those will be in the mail on March 1st. Or March 2nd is the Monday before election day. And Colette will get all of those out, and she has put together kind of a 2-page document with the help of the assessors, and she pulled a bunch of information that other cities put in there. Just more information, kind of bullet points for people to understand the process, understand what assessing is all about. So hopefully that will help people, because we've always had good information on the back of the assessment notice, which I fear not very many people read. So maybe this extra little thing with some, I don't know, color or something might get right. And those will be in the mail, like I said, March 2nd, and then that starts the 30-day appeal period, so people will have a chance to appeal. We also have a 1-pager from the assessor that just kind of explains what they worked on this year and what has been adjusted. And I'm gonna put that in next council packet, March 4th, which is perfectly timely. Everybody will just get their notice and they'll see that this is what happened across the board, so. And that is all I'm gonna report on right now. Thanks.
Thanks. Any questions from the clerk? Room or online? That's great. Okay, so we have correspondence. We've got, let's see. A letter from DOT and the US Maritime Administration, letting the community know that there was a finding of no significant impact for the Prince William Sound Ferry Terminal upgrades. That's all good.
Good job with those acronyms. Well done.
There's a letter from BCCED, Department of Community and Regional Affairs, with our fiscal year 27 population determination, which is 2,400 and change, I think. There's a letter from DOT about the long range transportation plan, and comments are due. I am assuming that the only reason they don't specifically mention the Alaska Marine Highway System is that they also just did a long range plan for the Alaska Marine Highway System, so. Because otherwise I was gonna acknowledge that wasn't referenced. Yeah, so that's what we have for correspondence. Any questions about that? Yeah.
Mayor Smith, is, my only question about the ferry terminal is ferry service going to be interrupted during that construction period?
I don't believe so. I don't think so, no. Yeah. Yeah. So, awesome.
Not specifically on this, but to bring up a topic that another council approached here recently, it does seem like it would be prudent to write a letter just detailing how, with one DOT employee, there are challenges responding to the normal weather events in this location, and, we recognize that there's been a shortage of funds, but it seems to be that the positions that are open are not filled because they aren't paying enough. So I think just sort of outlining the city's points of why we need these working pieces of infrastructure and how we can't have them if we don't have the proper maintenance.
So you're suggesting that the city write a letter to DOT commissioner and just bring the situation to his awareness and, yeah, or make sure that he knows that we know. He probably does, yeah, okay.
Yep. Madam Mayor, along those same lines, I was going to bring up during pending agenda, but there also is an opportunity here for us to partner with some other communities within the state, maybe even through AML, to have kind of a louder voice. I think this is very much appropriate. What are our local constraints due to really lack of staffing? That's what it comes down to for various reasons. You're spot on. Councilmember Mickelson. But there might be an additional opportunity for us to partner, like I said, with other communities. So.
Thank you. Great. Correspondence, questions? Okay. So then we're moving to ordinances and resolutions. And I will entertain a motion for resolution 022606, and if you make the motion, please read it out, so the people listening know what we're discussing.
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Sherman.
I move to approve resolution 022606 to adopt the 2026 land disposal maps as presented. Which is a resolution of the council of the city of Cordova, Alaska, adopting the 2026 land disposal maps.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilmember Goodman. Okay, Councilmember Sherman, do you want to speak to your?
This is a regular. I want to say housekeeping because it's bigger than that, but planning and zoning takes this on, gives us their recommendation. I've gone through this, it's very carefully detailed with the changes and the updates, and a lot of these were discussed over the past year. So I'm in favor of accepting planning commission's recommendations.
Thank you. Councilmember Kinsman.
Yeah, so I'll echo that. I appreciate the work that goes into this, and I really appreciate seeing the lease dates on here. That's very helpful. Thank you for adding that. I know that's been really in the last several years. I guess that's been worked on and talked about in the last several years. So it's great to see it on here. Thank you for that work and effort. So, and I know it's not a small feat. So.
Councilmember Wilson.
I certainly appreciate the amount of work that goes into this. I know it's a big process, but I just wanted to, I guess bring everyone's attention to the Southfield Development Park. There's a section right now that says available where subdivision, where the recycling facility is, but more importantly, there's harbor parking. And as someone who has parked multiple vehicles there during the fishing season, because every other parking lot for the harbor is taken, it just seems like we really need to be careful about what we're doing, because not all the slips are full in the summer, and we already don't have that parking as it is for the harbor on both sides, which the harbor department has begun trying to address with permitted parking and whatnot. But I just don't think that there's really any way we should be considering selling off parking area, especially when we've had all this money put into the harbor to make it the amazing facility that it is now.
I guess I would ask, is that staff must have considered that? How, if you want to comment on any deliberations you had on that issue, or how they.
So we didn't look at a actual like one-for-one replacement, but you will notice that there is gonna be changes to the, I don't know what to call the lot, but the one to the side of the harbor master's office. Tony and I worked on that this off season, and realized that we can fit at a minimum an additional row of parking in there, which would allow parking on both sides, so if you put another divider down the middle. I don't remember the exact numbers, but when we looked at the drive aisles on the north side of the harbor, it was about 25 feet, and the drive aisles that we have on this side was over 40 feet. And so by squeezing those parking spaces together, we're able to at a minimum get an entire full row of parking in there additional. And so, like I said, I didn't do a count to see what would be lost over here versus gained over there. But there is still places that we can get increased parking in the harbor area, so.
Because I would say, you know, just to meet our current needs, there's not enough parking, and so. My suggestion would be, great, let's open up more parking there's a lot of demand on that side of the harbor, but I just don't think we can afford. We should be trying to come up with more parking, not less parking, I guess is my point. Because not all the slopes are full, and looking at what's happening and where people are at, on a statewide basis and what they're charging for harbors, we're already seeing more boats coming in from out of region because we have reasonable harbor rates in comparison to Gulf East over here. Thanks.
I do wanna say the Southfield looks amazing, you know, that, what, you guys did some cleanup and some reorganizing, and it really looks terrific down there, so thank you. And I think you've done some work over on the Northfield side too, right, removing some, where there's some derelict vehicles in there, or?
Yeah, it was, I think when we did the cleanup between the two sides of the harbors, we got 12 vehicles out of there, it might have been more than that. That's not right.
I think it was a bit more, but yeah.
At least 12 vehicles out of there, so. But, yeah, no, I mean, I understand and appreciate the concerns about. You know, do we have enough parking? This is just what, was presented to commission and then to you, and so I mean, obviously. The council can amend or change the maps. I just wanted to speak about what the actual changes were, and then I'll let Amanda talk if you want any planning. Since this is technically her item, I just wanted to speak about the work that Tony and I did to try to increase parking in that one area, so.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
One question.
Sure.
So if I understand that correctly, I mean, we as the council make the decision on whether or not that lot is sold. We can choose to shoot it down.
You choose to change the status, yeah, I mean, it's marked as. Been available, and you could make an amendment to say, I would like to change it to unavailable, or. Yeah.
Or when a proposal comes forward, or however the lot comes forward within the better interest. That's also a good clean opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay, so I was gonna say, I will comment that if we mark it as available, then we need to expect people will put in proposals for it, and if we're feeling like it's something necessary for parking for our harbor, the importance of our harbor, then now would be the time to change it. And I'm just gonna. I will say that this has always been my biggest contention. It's what Seward did wrong. In that they developed, and at one point we had the same person over here trying to do the same thing to our harbor. And we chased them away. But Seward gave away all their parking for fishermen to non-fishermen. And that's why they don't have a greatly viable fishery like we do today, is lack of parking. So. And waterfront, or their amenities are for tourists, not for fishermen. So if we want to be a working fishing harbor. Then our priority should be. The fishing fleet. Does anyone want to propose an amendment? Councilmember Mickelson.
Would it be phrased as a friendly amendment versus an unfriendly one?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a friendly amendment to move the piece of property where the recycling facilities are. Sort of adjacent to Napa and AC, from available requires subdivision to not available.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
It's on page 80, is that right? On page 80?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn that orange to red.
Okay, so there's an amendment on the table to change the designation of that one piece of property on the Southville from available to not available. It's been moved and seconded. Are there comments on the amendment? Does anybody else want to speak to the amendment? Online? Okay, all those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I didn't unmute.
Aye.
Yeah, it was an aye. Sorry.
Thank you. Any opposed, same sign? Okay, amendment passes. So, yeah, so now we've got a set of land use maps with one modification from what was presented. Are there any other? Any edits people want to see? Okay, then we've got a motion on the table by Councilmember Sherman, second by Councilmember Kinsman to approve the land disposal maps as amended. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 No, okay, any opposed, same sign? Okay, motion passes. So then we come to resolution 02-26-07. Someone next make a motion. Someone please make a motion. Mayor Smith, Councilor Sherman,
I move to approve resolution 02-26-07, a resolution of the council of the city of Porterville, Alaska, authorizing the lease of a 1,400 square foot portion of tract A, USS 833 to Cordova Telecom Cooperative Incorporated for construction of a communications building.
second. It's been moved Sherman and seconded Adams, Councilmember Sherman.
Yeah, we discussed this before and, this Reconnect grant that, CTC has been working on is a good benefit to our community as well as many other communities, and this area, I believe we were told would not affect operations of the water sewer, but provide CTC with what they need to, continue with their grant award and create this data center facility. I'm in favor of the motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Adams.
Ditto, and that this is innovative, and it's a benefit to our community. So I'm in support of it.
The other council members want to chime in? Comments? Online?
Madam Mayor, I'm in support of this. I just also want to just give a kudos and thank you to the work that CTC is doing. Again, I think Councilmember Sherman said it very well, not only to our community, but other surrounding communities. So, yeah, thank you and in support of this.
I'd like to just call out that, I do not plan to not vote on this, but I am the president of the CTC board. So I don't personally have a financial interest in this, but, I do represent an organization that does, so I didn't wanna motion for it, but, I am planning on voting for it unless there's an issue with that.
I don't see a substantial conflict of interest.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
I am an employee. According to telephone cooperative.
I also don't think there's gonna be a substantial conflict of interest unless there's some deal that you guys are gonna split, then But thank you for declaring that, for getting that on the record. Okay, all those in favor of resolution 02-26-077, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? Motion carries. Okay. So resolution 02-26-08. Motion.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve resolution 02-26-08, a resolution of a resolution of the council of the city of Cordova, Alaska, authorizing the city manager to enter into a sole source contract with Caliber Mechanical for preventative maintenance services.
I'll second this.
Thank you. Nicholson, one second, to bring, so Councilmember Nicholson, speak for your motion.
This is basically, you know, something that we need to do. It's on the edge of being housekeeping, but, yeah, it's. We have trouble getting people to do things in Cordova sometimes, and if we can get anyone to come in and help us with most basic maintenance, I'm in favor of it.
Thank you. Councilmember Brady.
Preventative maintenance, regular maintenance. I think I'm a fan of.
Any other council comments?
Yeah, Mayor Smith.
Member Zastro?
Yeah, I'm going to be in favor of this as well. I understand this particular company is investing quite a bit in the community. They're gonna have equipment here in Cordova staged for doing other work, and as already been mentioned by other council members, it's been pretty tough to get that kind of work done in our community. So it's good to see that there's a business that wants to operate in Cordova. So yeah, I think this is a good thing.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Thank you, motion carries, great. All right, let's go to new and miscellaneous business and our pending agenda. Which is on page 105. I had one thought about the future agenda item, section A on this page, item 9. For ordinance 1231, council to revisit analytic account quarterly. Would that not be moved to section C, because it's kind of a regular. Okay, scheduled. Sure, review that we do. Any other comments about pending agenda? City manager, do you feel up to hazarding a guess about when we could schedule the workshop to talk about the capital improvement plan stuff? Not, I'm just saying, like, I mean, it could easily be a ways out, I'm just wondering.
It's gonna be ways out, so the 4th, and so I'm leaving on the 27th, I won't be here for the meeting on the 4th. This is basically the packet we do the next week I got back in. So we're probably, I think headed towards April for that. We have a lot of stuff going on, and we have 2 new land sales coming forward. Those RFPs closed. We are doing some pretty extensive work on our union contract prep for negotiations, so I think, we can get there. I'm willing to send out everything I sent last year, which kind of covers a lot of it. If people are really chosen to read some things, I sent out the nuisance code after the last meeting for you all to review. And I certainly will go through that, what we did last year as well, if you would like to see that between now and the work session.
Okay, no, I was just asking so that, yeah, just to get a sense of the timing. Okay, well, sounds like there are no other burning issues that we need to have right now, so we're good. Everybody cool with moving on? Okay, let's go to audience participation.
Good evening, council. Stephen Phillips, Fire Chief, and 100 Gandil. I just want to come, kind of apologize first off, because we don't have our quarter 4/annual report done yet. We're unfortunately delayed in getting some statistics taken care of from earlier in the year. With that, just some highlights that will be in the report. The Explorers program is back to full swing. We have 2 new Explorers out of the high school, operating as members. The tools that we received from the grant we wrote for the state of Alaska have arrived. Much to our surprise, the value of said tools actually was higher than what I told you previously, about $150,000. They gave us 3 tools, which will help in extrication of vehicles, that won't take 6 people to operate. And they gave us 6 batteries and a charging system, so that's huge for us. The FRS grant we received for $5,000 through CTC was spent. We do have the routers for apparatus as well as the headsets for public education with children are on the way, so that's a plus. Firefighter 1 did conclude. We ended up with 9 new firefighters, which brings our total certified firefighters up to 13. And we do have 2 members who are retaking a couple of tests, and hopefully we'll get those taken care of this year. ETT class will begin towards the end of February, which will start getting us more medical personnel trained in the volunteer group. And then we'll have a bridge later on to EMT 1 status. And we're also working on elevating some of our EMTs to potentially 2s or 3s with Dr. Yutzi. That's still kind of in the works. We did the active shooter training with the state troopers as well as PD. Got a lot of really good information out of that, a lot of good training, and hopefully we'll continue going forward with that being an annual occurrence. And then we resumed meeting, myself, the fire marshal, and the city manager for pretty much all of January and most of February. We were all traveling, so those meetings are back to getting some housekeeping and cleaning up on documents done. And then our paid staff have been going to town cleaning both Station 1 and Station 2. There's been some pretty drastic changes in getting rid of some stuff that we can't support nor shouldn't be supporting, so throwing away a lot of stuff there. Stuff that we can't use, just to clarify. Other than that, I will have a full report done hopefully by the next council meeting on March 4th. With moving into quarter 1 as well, so maybe even a double up of report, we'll see. But thank you.
Thank you for the great work.
Cool.
Audience participation. Okay, and we can move on to council comments. Let's start on that side of the room.
I'd like to once again thank staff for what they did putting this budgetary items together, as well as this plan map that we can look at. I think it's really important for community members to just kind of be taking a look at that, because I know there's there's always some level of interest in a lot of these spaces, and I'm happy to see that we've seen some businesses change hands and things moving in a positive direction in light of using one of our processing capability this summer. I think we do have some challenges in front of us, and I do think our main focus that we really need to be kind of thinking about is how do we continue to make Cordova a good place to live without sacrificing too many of the things that allow us to live here. So whether that's being able to operate a business, if you're a small business operator, the recreational things that we have. And I appreciate everyone's continued efforts to elevate this community to what it has been and will continue to be.
Councilmember Hanson.
I'd like to thank staff for all their time and effort that they're in the packet. It's very helpful for us. Another thing that I would like to bring up is I know that you know, there's definitely a financial strain for the city. And we want to promote growth and we want there to be things available within this community. And I just see the way that some of these lots are priced. I mean, they're not priced for, you know, somebody who's getting into a trade or trying to provide a service to start up. It's for the people that already have substantial amounts of money, and I understand why. But we are also kind of shooting ourselves in the foot for people who are starting to have contractor licenses, trying to, you know, build and grow. So I just wanted to bring that up. I do see that as, you know, you're targeting a group that has substantial income. And it's taken away from the people who are starting out. No consideration, thank you.
Councilmember Rainey.
I appreciated the financial reports, that a lot of work goes into that. I appreciate Cheryl's work on that and city manager. The land use maps are great to see. Again, I like that as well. I'd like to remind folks to get educated on the proposition that's coming up on the ballot, and understand that it is a mandate. This is not something that we want to do. It's something that we have to do. So, you know, make sure you understand, going into the election, what's going on there and understand what the city's on the line for. US Coast Guard Appreciation Lunch is coming up on March 13th, so NBE is putting that on. Just a shout out to get that on your calendar, make sure we show some love to the Coast Guard folks in town. I appreciate everything going on with the fire department, those numbers are great, nice to hear we have folks going through the training, that's important. I understand what goes into that. Have no desire to do that again ever in my life, but do understand what goes on there and appreciate the people that are coming out and doing that. Just thanks for everybody for showing up. It's nice to have a full audience.
Councilmember Adams.
I'm gonna repeat what other councilmen have said, is that I appreciate the depth of the packets that we received, because they get me ready for the meetings, and they're very helpful, so thank you, staff. And wanted to say I voted today, I voted early, and trying to encourage people, if you're just happen to be in the building before election day, come on down and vote. I do wanna repeat a question though, have we had any movement on possibly making an informational video about the bear events? Yes, no?
Yeah.
They
started it.
okay.
We have a script ready and we should be shooting it either today or I mean tomorrow or the next day. So it is in the works and it's getting nice.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that, just because it will, just another way to get the word out to people and explain that, as Councilman Randy said, this is a must do, not a maybe, it's a must do, and even though the number looks really scary, we need to do it. Hearing about Silver Bay, I heard about them a couple of days ago, or it was yesterday, and it's really hard to hear. And a little scary, because my first thought was raw fish tax, and that means that to all of us. And so I'm just you know, when eventually we might have a task force that gets together to talk about how can we incentivize processors to come here, stay here, and do business here. So, but Cordova's resilient. We'll get through it. Councilmember Sherman.
Sure, thank you. And repeat too, first of all, thank you for the audience, it's very nice to have people here and that have comments. And boy, land use maps have come so far from when I first started working with the city, it's just amazing. And it's just really exciting to see them so professionally done and so accurate. And I think the community they're available, they're a great opportunity for people to look at if they wanna invest or do something in the community. Really appreciated the year state finances, I know it's early, but just being able to see them at regular meetings is a big help. I'm thrilled to death about that, as a former employee with the Cassell automated timekeeping system, we've been trying to do that for so many years. How exciting to have it completed under your watch, I'm impressed. And yeah, I think that's it for me today.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Zastro.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to be a little repetitive, and agree with all my fellow council members. Really appreciate staff's work on our land disposal maps and getting us a budget report. On the land disposal map, what I really appreciate as well is our ability to look at these annually. So every year we get a chance to revisit this and make decisions that best suit what we have in front of us now and going into the future. Really appreciate Councilmember Mickelson's bringing up parking. That's a great example of why we look at this annually, so we can make decisions like that to be sure that we're doing the right things. I also appreciate cleaning up what is available, when we determine what's available for purchase, for lease, purchase to lease. That's great to have that very clean in the documentation as well. I also really appreciate having folks come in from councils or from boards and commissions. Really appreciate Pete Hefner's report out. That was fantastic. Sounds like things are going really well with the school district, as well as with the fire department and Parks and Rec. Really appreciate getting all that information as too. And yeah, that's kind of a hard blow to hear about Silver Bay. I guess the comment our mayor made about how we manage change really determines Cordova's future. I hope that Silver Bay's ability to flex year in and year out, their ability to hopefully next year, if the forecast is better, to bring on more employees, and as they're doing this coming season, decreasing. But my hope is that we have the ability to flex and be prepared for these changes in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Kinsman.
Yes, thank you. A couple items. One, going back to Mr. Hefner's report from the school board. That's fantastic to hear. Just the updates and news and growth from just really all throughout the Cordova School District, and especially the fine work they're doing at the elementary school, moving benchmarks and in that manner is no small feat, especially having one of my youngest son in one of those grades. So I understand that that's the struggle is real there. And then fantastic shout out for the recognition that Cordova junior senior high schools received at sounds like a national level. So that's fantastic. Great work, fire EMS. Just always thrilled to hear and see the efforts and progress, and not only grants, great, they help do so many things, that's awesome, but even just the homegrown efforts that we're doing, classes and research, that the amount of time and energy and effort that goes into that, just bettering our community, bettering their organization as a whole, that's huge. So thank you for the countless and thankless hours that go into that, with a very heartfelt thank you. And to echo Council Member Rainey's comment in regards to, it's not something I want to do again either, but man, I sure have a lot of appreciation for what everyone's doing over there, so I don't have to. So thank you for everyone who's stepping up, and hopefully from a council standpoint we can help remove some obstacles so you can continue to keep our community safe and a desirable place to live. My comments about Silver Bay are actually less about Silver Bay. They made a business decision, as is their right, but my comments are, I want to shift towards thank you to every single fish processor, both direct marketer and more broadly on a broader scale. Thank you for choosing to operate in Cordova, even in what might be a devastatingly forecasted year for the 2026 season. Thank you for choosing to keep your doors open. Thank you for choosing to keep people employed. Thank you for doing that. And then Samantha, thank you for the update on the pool. I know I can only imagine the amount of questions you filled on that very topic. So thank you on a very public form and platform to just give updates. Keep those updates coming, no matter what they look like, and as you have, and it's very much appreciated. So thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, so maybe we want to make a motion for executive session.
Are we having?
No,
We're not.
we don't need it.
Oh, okay.
We put it on there just in case.
Okay, never mind. All right, well then I'll take a different motion.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
Christy at the school district told me in January, and I recognized it, but I forgot to change it on my calendar. So in March, the school board is meeting on the 19th, not their normal date, which is the 11th, and that is so that we will swear in the new school board member on the 18th, when council certifies the election. That's why their meeting will be the next day, so next meeting, it will be corrected on the calendar, but I'm telling you all now that March, school board's meeting on the 19th.
Okay.
Sorry,
And President's Day isn't. Yes,
March 19th.
March. You know, President, you have it on there. It's on March too.
Oh. What do you mean? I have the Ides of March. Don't you see that?
I saw that.
But I left President's Day.
Yeah.
We don't get that day off, sorry. But we get something in March, don't we? At the end.
Stewart's Day.
Stewart's, yeah.
20. Alright, whatever. I'll fix that too.
Great. One more motion.
To adjourn.
So I guess, all right.
Thank you. Goodbye, guys, on Zoom.
Thank you.
Thanks, all.